Have you ever wanted to create an optical illusion like this? Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at how can you very simply create an optical illusion with a pencil. You don't even need a ruler. Stay tuned. So over here, we're going to start off obviously with a blank piece of paper. So you can use a ruler, or if you want to just freeform it, you can also use nothing, just a pencil. So over here, I just have a very simple H pencil. You can use a pen, pencil, whatever you feel comfortable with. Initially, you want to start off with a pencil, ideally not a pen, just because it ends up being much more easier. You can obviously erase things. So why don't we go ahead and let's just get started. So starting off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a very simple line right there. And then I'm going to follow that up with creating a line of an angle like so, right? So it's going to be like a line over here, and it's almost like I'm making a triangle, right? So I have this, and now I'm going to do the similar thing. I'm going to kind of do another one on this side and right there, right? And I'm going to follow the same thing again, and I want to keep the same distance between this and this. I want to keep the same distance between here and here. So what I'll do is I'll kind of continue this across. There we have it, right? Now you want to think about this optical illusion in a very simple way. Now what's going to happen is we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to make it a bit more of a 3D kind of object, right? So starting off, I have this. I'm going to start to cap that off, and I'm going to cap this off, right? And now I'm going to do the similar thing, and I'm going to make it a bit more 3D. So I'm going to add this just about the same length to there. And now I'm going to create that part. And now I'm going to create this part to make it look more like an L. So if you're thinking about a 3D L, how would that look like? And this is how it would look like. So I have this, and I'm going to cap that off. So it looks more like a square over there. And I'm going to kind of carry this across. Now again, if you want to be more specific, more perfect, feel free to use a ruler. It's completely up to you. We're just really having fun with it and just experimenting right now. So in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to take this line and you're going to go all the way across to here. Now notice this came up short, so I have two options. One is I can kind of bring this down, or to make it look a bit better, I can just make this, I can extend this to be a bit further, okay? So I'm going to carry this line all the way across. Just going to erase this, make it look a bit better. Again, we're just having fun. And there we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry this line forward, right? So this is how we had it before, right? So we had the tip touching there, and now we're going to carry this line. I'm going to bring this to here, right? So now you want to think about doing the same thing with another line that's going to go down with this. Because if you look at it right now, we have an L, right? So we have an L, like a 3D L. What we're doing is adding the third part, which is going to be the slightly confusing element. So I'm going to create that line and bring that here. There we go, and bring it all the way across. Okay, so now that we have over here, what we're going to take a look at is how do we kind of make this part to be a bit more complex and make it a bit more realistic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our eraser and start to erase some of the lines that's going to make this look a bit more realistic. So starting off, we're going to erase this line right here, this one, then we're going to erase this part right here. Okay, and now what this is going to start to look like is this part is starting to be more of a 3D element. Now, at the same time, we're going to start to reduce this part right here right? And what we're also going to do is remove this part up top, right? Now we're starting to get somewhere. Now this is starting to look a bit more realistic. So we're going to start to remove this part right here and this part. So just to make it a bit more clear, we're going to remove this part and this part. So we're going to remove this and remove this. There we go. Look at that. So now we're starting to get somewhere, right? This is starting to be a bit more realistic. We're starting to see all the shapes come together, right? So now we have two options. One is we can obviously just leave it how it is, or we can take it one step further and make it look much more cleaner, much more better, much more presentable. So you have an option, right? One is you can take a very simple pencil and you can use that to make it a bit more darker, like so. This is an H, you can use a B, or you can use a pen. Or so in this case, I have a Pilot fine liner. You can use a Sharpie, or you can even use a micron. So in this case, it's a micron 0.8. Pardon me, 0.8. And this is what I'm gonna do, right? So I have two options. One is I can use a ruler in this case, or I can use just using my hands. So if you want to make this look a bit more pretty, let's just go ahead and use the ruler. So in this case, now that we have all the edges drawn up, what we're going to do is start to make it look more realistic by using the micron, make it a bit more realistic by adding more dimensional lines. So we're going to go around the edges and create more outline, right? So we have like that. Whoops, I'm knocking things over. Okay, so we have one over there. Now the thing with the micron you want to remember is that you want to give it some time to dry. Otherwise, it won't look as good. Well, because it's going to start to smudge, right? Because there's some wet ink in there. So there we go. I'm starting to do this. So starting to take care of the edges. There we go. I'm going to do outside the edges again. There we go. And now I'm going to do this side, just so it gives the other side time to dry. So we're starting to see this take shape, right? So now we're going to do this. And now we're going to do the final few elements. I'm going to line this up. Right? And what I'll do is I'll kind of touch this, make sure this is in parallel with this, right? I'm just gonna blow on it, make sure that we're not really stepping and blurring anything, smudging rather. And there we go, one last piece left to go, which is this piece. We're gonna give it just a second more to dry, this little part, and then we're gonna go back and there we go. We got it. All right, so here we have it. Very, very simple 3D illusion. What we're gonna do is now we're gonna use the eraser to come back and remove all the little elements. Again, we're giving the ink some time to dry, right? So you wanna kind of go around the edges first. Right, we start to remove it, right? And then, oh, you see something came off a bit, just a tad bit. That's completely okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so here we have it. Very simple 3D illusion. Now, we can take it one step further. How do we do that? Very simple. We use a pencil and start to add more shading elements. Now, when you start to think about how can we add shading elements, right? You want to think about which elements and which parts is light going to be affecting. Now, because this is obviously a 3D illusion, we can kind of create a different side. We can make one side darker than the other. So in this case, we're going to make it very simple. We're going to use this side we're going to keep this side be the darkest. So if you imagine if the light coming from the top, right? So if the light is coming from here, right? What's going to happen is this side, which is kind of like the top, that's going to be the lightest. This is going to be the darkest, right? So what we're going to do is we'll start to just add shade, right? Just add a consistent shading value to the side, right? And this is going to allow us to create a very simple, again, I'm just kind of doing it quickly, making it rough. You can feel free to add more value to it, right? So in this case, I'm using an H. What I could do is I can use a 3B, so pardon me, a 4B over here, right? That's even better. So let's just use the 4B, right? We're just having fun with this, trying to add more value to this to make this feel and look much more realistic, much more better, right? So we have this, and as you're going through this, you want to make sure it's consistent all the way throughout, right? So I'm just going to go across right now. I can just keep it the same and go vertically, but it's whatever you feel comfortable with, right? Feel free to change the position of the paper to what feels comfortable, right? Again, we're just kind of going rough with this, still making sure it looks presentable, right? So over here we have this, right? So this is the darkest part. Now we're going to add this part, but we're not going to use the 4B. We're going to go back to the H that we had before, right? So we're going to start to add, and now we have two options. One is we can use just the top down, or we're going to use the side edge of the H, like so. There we go. And this is going to allow us to get the edges of the pencil, right? And we're starting to get more consistency, more even colors as we start to get more and more coverage, right? There we go. Look at that. Right? So there we go. We're starting to get it to be more realistic. We can come back with the eraser, start to clean up some of the sides and edges, right? And there we go. Look at that. You just created a very simple optical illusion using just a couple of lines and not even taking a whole lot of time. This is a very simple thing that you can use, whether you're going to create it for yourself or create it for your friends or even gift it to someone or even show them how to do it, right? So hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more videos like this. And in the next videos, you're going to see some amazing, awesome other drawing tips.